Steve Higgs' The Kidnapped Bride, a Patricia Fisher mystery, reads like a sunlit cruise that suddenly turns into a storm at sea. An accessible, propulsive mystery that pairs the genteel rhythms of a vacation with the sharp, urgent logic of a detective story. For American readers who love cozy adjacent mysteries with a modern edge, Higgs delivers a novel that balances character, atmosphere, and plot mechanics. A cruise ship becomes a closed world, a missing bride becomes a puzzle, and Patricia Fisher, an investigator whose curiosity is equal parts compassion and stubbornness, must navigate social niceties, hidden resentments, and the claustrophobic logic of a vessel where everyone is both witness and suspect. The book opens with the kind of scene that feels familiar to many U.S. readers. A couple's wedding celebration extended into a honeymoon cruise, family members gathered in cocktail dresses and linen shirts, and the gentle hum of engines as the ship slips away from port. Higgs lingers on the small pleasures of cruise life, the buffet's abundance, the late-night piano in the lounge, the way strangers become temporary companions under a shared sky. Into this convivial setting he drops a rupture. The bride vanishes. The disappearance is not theatrical at first. It is a missing person in a place where privacy is thin and rumors travel faster than the ship's wake. That quiet escalation is one of the book's strengths. Higgs resists melodrama and instead lets tension accumulate through small, believable details. Patricia Fisher is introduced not as a superhero detective, but as a careful, observant presence. She is the kind of protagonist American readers will recognize and root for, practical, empathetic, and quietly tenacious. Higgs gives her a backstory that explains her instincts without bogging the narrative down. She has seen enough of human contradiction to know that people often hide their worst impulses behind manners. On the ship, Patricia's role is ambiguous. She is a guest, a friend to some, and an investigator by temperament. That ambiguity allows her to move through social spaces with plausible access. She can ask questions without the formalities of law enforcement and notice things that uniformed officers might miss. For U.S. readers who enjoy mysteries where the sleuth is both insider and outsider, Patricia's vantage point is ideal. Higgs structures the novel as a series of encounters that reveal character through dialogue and small actions. He is especially good at rendering the social microclimates of a cruise, the cliques that form around bridge tables, the simmering resentments between in-laws, the flirtations that feel like rehearsals for a different life. These scenes are not filler, they are the forensic material of the mystery. A tossed-off remark at dinner, a lipstick stain on a napkin, a passenger's oddly timed absence, each becomes a clue when Patricia learns to read the ship's social grammar. Higgs's prose is economical but evocative. He uses sensory detail to anchor scenes, the salt on a balcony rail, the squeak of deck chairs, the way the ship's public address system flattens voices, so that the reader feels the ship as a contained ecosystem. A central theme of the book is the tension between appearance and reality. Weddings are theatrical by design. They stage joy, ritualize commitment, and smooth over awkward histories. Higgs shows how that theatricality can mask resentments, secrets, and motives. The bride's disappearance forces characters to confront the gap between the image they present and the lives they actually lead. For U.S. readers who live in a culture that often curates public personas, on social media, at family gatherings, in professional life, this theme resonates. Higgs uses the cruise as a metaphor for modern social performance. Everyone is on display, and the pressure to perform can hide fractures that only a crisis will reveal. The novel's pacing is deliberate but relentless. Higgs alternates between Patricia's methodical inquiries and the ship's mounting anxieties. He introduces red herrings with a light touch, an ex-lover who shows up unexpectedly, a suspicious crew member, a passenger with a murky past, so that suspicion ricochets through the passenger manifest. Yet Higgs never loses sight of human stakes. The missing bride is not merely a plot device. She's a person with relationships, fears, and a life that matters to others. Patricia's investigation is therefore both procedural and humane. She interviews, she observes, but she also listens for the small human notes that reveal motive and vulnerability. Higgs also explores the limits of jurisdiction and authority at sea. A cruise ship is a legal gray zone. It sails under flags, carries multinational crews, and moves between ports with different laws. Higgs uses this complexity to heighten tension. Local police, ship security, and concerned family members each have different priorities and constraints. Patricia's informal inquiry sometimes collides with official procedures, and those collisions create moral and practical dilemmas. For U.S. readers who follow true crime narratives or who work in professions that require navigating bureaucracy, these scenes ring true. The right answer is not always the legally available one, and the law's reach can be frustratingly limited in a closed environment. Characterization is one of Higgs' strengths. He gives supporting figures distinct voices and believable motives. The groom is not a cardboard figure of grief or guilt. He is a man whose love is complicated by past mistakes and present pressures. The bride's family members are drawn with empathy and occasional aspiration. Some are protective, some are performative, and some are quietly self-interested. Crew members are not mere background. They have their own rhythms and loyalties, and Higgs treats them with respect rather than stereotype. This ensemble approach makes the mystery feel lived in. The ship is populated by people whose lives intersect in messy, human ways.